All right, it's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar. Let's just hop into it. It's Friday. It's been a busy week, a good week. We're gonna close it out strong. Looking at the pre-market, we kind of are going above and below the EMA, and then we get this bull leg, and then kind of like a spike in channel. So I want to find a good way to sort of capture this trend. Um, it's not perfect this morning because there's a couple ways you could look at it. In my opinion, when I made the channel too tight or when I made the channel off the wicks, um, I'll just make another one real quick. When I made the channel off the wicks, it was a little too tight and we got the break of the channel a little too early for me. So I didn't like using that one. So I actually kind of just went off the closes down in here and I got a little bit flatter, a more healthy angle. The best angle for these channels are going to be about 45 degrees. So the closer to 45 degrees we can get, the better um, the price action is going to trade. So it's 606 at this point. We're just waiting for the market to open up. There's a second entry long that's setting up, but we're going to need a good signal bar to go long above if we're going to take that particular trade. So I'm just kind of waiting. Like that bar, it's okay. I don't know if that's good enough in my opinion. Actually, it looks like it would have failed. So, that signal bar needs to be a little stronger. It would have been better if it closed above the EMA, but when it didn't, that's probably not a good sign. And then you can already see we're starting to go, even though we're creeping up, we're going sideways as well. So I also want to throw on another perspective, which is just like a range. I see a range through a lot of this. So I probably have my range highs up there and then the lows probably somewhere in here. So what I really want to see is if we start failing, maybe I can get a short off this high side or something. Ironically enough, the next bar is a big sell-off bar. So if you're ignoring this bull wide channel, there is a failed second entry long off this high. First attempt to go higher, second attempt. Once it breaks below these bars, that's the trade. But given the context, I don't think we're ready to go short yet. So you would just have to kind of wait on that one. And we're waiting now. We're kind of in the middle of everything. So I don't see many trades that I'd be willing to take if they're not buys off here or sells off here. So in the trading day, I kind of just took it easy through all this stuff. I didn't even worry too much about trying to find a trade. And then we get another kind of strong sell-off. So maybe we'll get some buying over here. We never quite get that higher low or any buy set up. And then now we're almost getting like breakout pullback type vibes. And you can clearly see there's something going on through there. So I'd probably have this line through here. And typically I don't draw this line yet, but there's clearly something working down through here. So I got to respect that as well. Up and through here, we don't have much. Here was maybe the first trade I considered to be a decent trade. This is a failed second entry once it breaks below from this high, first attempt, second attempt. We do have the trend. It's off the key area. It's resistance off the EMA. A little bit of a breakout pullback. We went below the range and kind of pulled back, and then now we're breaking below. So I considered this to be really the first trade that I could take that was in system, and even this a little aggressive. You can see how sideways we're going, and we're shorting the lows. But overall, on the day, I think we might be dealing with a bigger range. So overall, you might even have a target down here at 34, 39.50. So I was okay putting on some risk trying to trade that. It threatens your stop, comes really close to threatening your stop. And honestly, do you get enough 52.50? You don't get quite enough for the scalp on this first move, but if you manage this trade correctly, you should have gotten that on the second move. And it doesn't last long. Before we know it, we're right back above the EMA. And if you look at this channel, we kind of have a breakout side move to a new low. So at this point, I just want to make sure I'm trying to stay on the right side of the market. And this is definitely a challenging market to stay on the right side of, but I want to at least put a micro trend there. Break below, cross the EMA, higher, higher low. That's all the idea is for that channel. If we break above here, we're going to get a failed second entry long. You could probably buy this as well. Thing is, we don't get the break above on that bar. And here, it's also still valid, but we don't break above. And we don't even break above, until prices pretty much make like a double bottom. So that idea is gone. And then since we kind of, this leg went lower than this leg, um, than that leg, then pretty much the trend that we were working on is kind of done. That's not going to help us much anymore. So I'd probably just convert that line over to here at this point. And I might even start considering trying to expand what I already have, in that maybe we have a bigger channel. Man, just everything today is kind of crapping out on me. Maybe we just have a bigger channel kind of like this going on right now. So I'm also kind of considering this might be the trend that we're actually in. So if I can get like a lower high off here, then I'll probably take that. But honestly, the way this market is moving right now, it's a little tough to have really conviction in these setups right now. Here's your lower high, but it's not really a good setup. We're not really off the EMA. I mean, there's some space to this side of the channel, but it's not a great setup, so I'm skipping that one. It doesn't actually stop you out. And then here's our failed second entry, but you can see we're going sideways again. So I'd probably avoid trades in this congestion zone. Even though we do have a setup right there, I'm probably just going to avoid trades in this area. And that probably would have stopped you out as well. But that should have been an easy enough trade to avoid. But now that we're at the highs of this congestion, we might get another short opportunity. Maybe we can get like a second entry or a lower high. If we break below, that's the lower high second entry. But once again, the where we enter the trade is kind of the breakout of this congestion. I would rather enter up here, 34.50, 75 or something. So if this breaks below, I just have to skip it, and it does. And you can see the type of bar it makes. That's just how indecisive the market is right now. But this does actually give you a scalp profit. But just based off of the rules, based off of the way we trade, I don't think that's a good trade. Not a consistently good trade, at least. So I'm cool skipping all these trades. And if you're at the desk, it's already an hour into the open and after the open, and you only have one real setup, no need to force yourself to trade a hard market. Just show back up on Monday. So we're still working inside this channel, and really all we did was kind of like a failed breakout. In fact, if I was paying a little more attention, I might have seen this. Really, when we break out here and get this bear bar or this bull bar, that's a second entry long after a breakout of the range, and we didn't get the breakout pullback that I always talk about. So we're expecting prices to probably come test this breakout area. So if you saw that, you would probably even consider going long there. This is to me a better trade than what this trade was. So I'll mark it, but to me, this is a way better trade idea than going short right there. So that one plays out a little bit. We're still kind of in this channel. Let's see if we can get like a second entry short. If we break below here, that's a second entry short as well. See, but we never get the break below. And so at this point, you might even you might just extend you might just extend that range, and that's kind of what we're working with. So we want to. It's a really tight range. We want to fade it up here and buy it down here for now until we get more information. I'm more keen to sell up here because of the downtrend, but in general, I'm playing this congestion zone for now. Right here, you get a second entry short. I don't remember how this one does, but I think this is an okay trade. It's a second entry short, breakout of this congestion zone. Let's see if we test this breakout area and maybe come to the other side. Um, we we get down in there, so you get the scalp, 31.50 or 51.75 to 49.75. So depending on your management, you either almost got your scalp or you did get your scalp. Um, but that's looking kind of reversally. But when the reversal sets up, it kind of sets up this like a trap almost when that breaks above and then closes back down here. So I would be okay entering again short because this is the lower high. So that's more of the setup we want. Now we're getting close to that EMA. That's a little troubling. Um, but also with the context of the market that we have right now, we might expect another leg down after this break outside of the channel. It of course it stacks up a little bit on the way, but it eventually gets down there. Now we're just kind of looking. I mean, you could have maybe a measured move target. Um, it's a little tricky to kind of decide where you want to measure. I would probably I'd see this as leg one, pull back, leg two, so, it's a really large target, um, especially for kind of like a slow day like this. But maybe we have a target somewhere down in there. So, we might just try to hold our runners and manage our runners to optimize for the short down there somewhere. In fact, we're going to keep going. There was a missed trade just in there, but it was a little sideways at that point. You just be really aggressive to short that. But there's another entry short right there when the bar breaks below. Here's like a second entry short, but it's kind of getting confusing. It's getting messy. Look how these look how there's like wicks on the bottoms of these bars. You're gonna short right into that. You can. I think these are probably the trades I'll skip, especially if you were in up here. No reason to try to trade down here. It's a little aggressive. It hasn't stopped you out yet, and you didn't get the scalp. 46.5. If you're doing 1 point scalps, if you did a 1 point scalp, you got a 1 point scalp, but not yet the 2 point scalp. And then right there, it stops you out. So, if your target is small enough, but that's a really small target for the bar, in the long term, those probably aren't the trades you want to take. Now, it's getting so messy. I think I would probably extend my range just to there. Even though we're working down, it's so choppy on the way down. You're better off just waiting to try to sell up here. I wouldn't even worry too much about buying down here. There's that second entry short, or no, sorry, that's just a first entry short. There's nothing there. It was a bad signal anyway. There's a second entry short. That wasn't a great signal either. You would have got the scalp though, but that wasn't a great signal, and it's kind of just in the middle of this zone. Nothing there that you can really do. Here's just, a bear bar at the edge of a range. Sometimes these are good trades, but there's not enough context. I don't have enough conviction in this market to just take this trade. So I don't see anything there. Let's see if I can get that back. Looks like it would have worked. But just in this current condition, it just feels a little too aggressive just trying to get short below that bar. It's not enough data. Um, get a big leg down, big breakout side. There we get the breakout pullback. So with that breakout pullback, let's go ahead and chart that and see if maybe there's going to be another entry off of that area. I know that line kind of cuts some of that price action. Probably the trend is there. So the break below here is interesting because we broke below here, but we went higher than the lower high trade. Those are aggressive trades. You know, we're expecting prices to come test this low, but you know, in this market condition, I don't blame anyone for wanting to skip some of these trades. So I don't think this isn't planned enough to take this short. I just probably just skip it, and you can see it fails. Now you get that second entry short, but it's the same sort of thing going on. It's just, you know, even here, you know, we're if you look at the overall picture of the day, we're actually getting to the lows. So shorts are starting to get more and more aggressive. I would just hang out. I just take it easy for now. Looks like if you took the second entry short, it works. 43. Once again, depending on your management, it either works or it doesn't. So that's a tough one, but depends on your management on that trade. Here you get like a lower high. This one looks good. It's just a little sideways at this point though, but this one looks a little better. That one goes. And I mean, that right there is like 845. I wouldn't really mess with this market too much more past there. Oh, but look at our measured move. Look at that measured move that we took from earlier. Look how close to that measured move we get. I'll be interested to see do we actually reach it or not. Looks like we get a double bottom right before we get that double bottom, and now we didn't we did cross over that EMA with a double bottom. So I mean, you could consider this a kind of like a bear or a bull. Sometimes you get them confused, but a bull leg up. So, you know, we might not actually get to that measured move yet, and then we start to trend higher. So there were a few kind of trades in here, like in here, the second entry. I thought it failed. That's why I really didn't talk about it much. But now that I remember, it just went sideways for a while and then finally broke lower. So, you know, if you were following the rules, you could have took this trade, and you know, you would have had to sweat a little bit, but it works. And that's the greatest thing about price action is, you know, even when it's ugly, sometimes the trades work. You just have to be disciplined to make sure you're taking the right trade and not a bad trade. But I mean, you know, today was definitely tricky, but it's a good day to review because it just helps you realize that you know not every day is the same. Not every day is necessarily easy money, and if you can navigate days like this, you will definitely uh, be ready for the easier days. So let me just kind of scroll through the rest of the day so we can see what the price action ended up doing. And we did get that pullback and eventually make a measured move. And you can see not long after that measured move, we start going sideways and there's like a reversal back into the range. So overall, this is really just kind of like a range day, you know, bear leg down for most of the day, and then on the afternoon, just kind of like a bull leg up. So pretty much just a range. Um, the entries were hard, but if you catch these two, these were really good. But all the other entries are pretty tough today. So yeah, no need to beat around the bush much more than that. You know, we'll be back next week with some more content, more videos and stuff. But you know, hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I can answer them and help you out. But yeah, until then, I'll have to catch y'all next week. See ya.